Guys, it's me. I'm back. What's up, party people? We're like, Max, come on. No! All right, this show is taking a turn for the. Oh. Sweep the leg. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Monster Bass Live. I can tell you today is going to be a really tough show because if the lag that I'm staring at is anything that's like the one that I'm looking at, I'm going to be all confused the entire time because what I'm saying actually showing up on the screen like 3 seconds later, so it looks really weird. But hey, whatever. We got a great show for you today. We've got Will Stewart on the show today, and Will is actually the guy that we worked with to develop the lunker sticks, and so we're gonna learn a little bit about rods and how they're made today, and then we'll probably talk about some random stuff. We're gonna get Gramps on the line because I heard there's some chit chat going on in Monster Bass Nation, and I don't know what it's all about, but I want to. You know me, I like to address things head on. So today's show will be sponsored by Cheez-Its. I like the white cheddar, just happens to be my favorite. And for the very first time ever, since I'm out of Liquid Death, my sponsor, I don't know what you guys are doing, but last time a pallet of Liquid Death showed up in my driveway. I have none, so I'm trying this Starry. Don't know what it is, but it's refreshing. All right. Couple things. First, I want to apologize to everyone that I spammed yesterday with my text messages. I had to send it a second time. I sent you all, I don't know what it was, a promo code for something. And, yeah, I typed the promo code wrong in the back end. So all these people started placing orders and telling me that the code didn't work. And you know, because y'all have my home phone number, y'all decided to call me up and, you know, read me the riot act, and rightfully so. So, I just want to say I'm sorry to you and to my finance department because I spent a lot of money on text messages yesterday. Unplanned, of course, and unbudgeted. Whew, let's see who's in here. I see Gramps. Who else? Ooh, Jason Beck. Jason Sullins. That guy called me for a hotline number. He doesn't need a hotline. Give the man a fishing tournament, and he wins it every time. Guy's crazy. Let's see. Westfall. Michael D. McDermott. Or McDermott. I don't know. Cast of Nasties. The Hype Man. Oh, yeah. Over the Shoulder. We got a lot of people in here. It's pretty good. Pretty good crowd. All right. Let's do this first. Let's get before we bring on Will, I want to get JT out of the way. Not like I want to get Gramps out of the way, but I want to address this. It's that 12,000-pound elephant in the room. So Gramps, would you mind calling in right now? If you don't know the number, I'll give it to you. Are you calling him? Oh, you're not ready for what? God. See, this is why we're going to fire Jared. Jared, the podcast producer, messed it up again. I'm going for phone calls, and we can't even have phone calls. Are we ready, Jared, or what? Oh, my God.
Didn't ask me to be ready when we started.
And Brian Rand. All right, while we're waiting for Gramps to call him. We got it? There's Gramps. Okay. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go over to my laptop, and under my chats, you'll see a chat that I sent to myself. There's 5 people's names. I'd like it.
5 people's names in your own chat.
Yeah.
I only see the 5-pound club.
Gramps, you there?
I am here.
All right, 1 second. Here, bring me that damn laptop. How you doing, Gramps?
I am doing awesome, my man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm really good, man. Really, really good. So I heard you've been doing a little bit of fishing.
I did.
I heard you put an end to fishing with Gramps.
We haven't done that quite yet. We're going to use the year because of tax purposes to we're going to do a transition, so to speak. Fishing with Gramps will eventually become Two Brothers Fishing, but we're already changing our live streams to Two Brothers Fishing. We will continue having our Freedom Squad Fridays with the extended group, OEF5, Army Outdoors, and Salmon Searcher. But eventually Fishing with Gramps will become more than me. It'll become we, as Jeremy and I move into doing more veteran-focused advocacy things and move. I'm not going to say we're going to stop teaching. We're going to teach, but we're going to teach, together, and both of us on the same page. So yeah, Fishing with Gramps as a channel will change, but it'll become Two Brothers Fishing. But it'll probably be at the beginning of the next year, probably. But we'll be doing a lot of work this summer, heading in that direction, so to speak.
I love it. Can't wait to hear all about it. Can't wait to watch it unfold. Now, I brought you on the show today because you text me. Actually, you text Rafi and myself.
I did.
And you said that there was, chatter. Tell me what the chatter is so I can address it straight on. Because you know me, I don't like to hide from things. I like to address it straight on.
Yep, and you know me, I'm not going to keep it from you. I'll bring it straight to you. So the first one, people, I guess, were having questions about the golden ticket and how they never see anybody win. And, there's nobody tagging any photos. Is anybody getting anything? Is the whole thing a scam?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll be honest, I would love more winners because I have stuff in my garage. It's funny. Like, I've sent out stuff, like I've got it in my inbox because it comes to me. And like Ryan Downs, Fletch 0002, Lindsay Weller, Joe O'Pager, Juan Triana. Like, I send these guys all their stuff. I invite them on. No one wants to come on. No one posts pictures. There's not much I can do. So
no, 100%.
No, but so let's do this. Because I don't want people to think, maybe we do away with a golden ticket. Maybe what we do is we keep them. Well, let me think this through. I don't want to penalize anyone who's got a lot of golden tickets. Maybe what we do is this. Maybe instead of calling out a golden ticket number, I've got the answer. Instead of the golden ticket number, maybe I'll just call out people's names. And then we post those names also in Monster Bass Nation. So if you know the person, you want to find them, go for it. In fact, I think that would work, wouldn't it?
I think so. I mean, yeah, because like you said, it gets a good place for somebody to, and it's hard. I mean, because you guys have to imagine ticket numbers, and somebody may have missed the stream and not realize they won.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to go back and watch every live, even though we have a dedicated Monster Bass Nation member who is actually going to go back and watch all of the lives and build a catalog of all the winning ticket numbers so we can post them on Monster Bass Nation, and he's dedicated to having that done within the next day or two.
I love it.
That is amazing.
Quick tip, just go all the way to the final 10 seconds of each stream, because all the numbers will be posted there at the end. So You don't have to
Yep.
watch more than whatever 5 seconds of each one to see.
Exactly.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do, Gramps, to address that one. Give me a second now that I've got my laptop. I'm going to pull up my old Shopify reports. All right. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call out some names today. All right, but I don't have an app that'll do it random. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't think anyone can find a problem with this. I'd like to call out, I'm going to call out 7 names today. I'll do it all while you're on the phone except for the last one. The last one, because I need to save something for the end. I'm going to call out the 7 most loyal customers that we have based upon dollar amount spent. And they're going to be today's golden ticket winners.
Oh, there you go.
And then going forward, starting next week, I'll randomize it so that it's, you could be a 1-time subscriber or a 10-time subscriber. But what we'll do is we'll get a week's worth of sentiment, because I don't want people to think that this is my great idea and then find out everybody's pissed off. This week we're going to do it that way. We'll have a week of feedback, and if everyone's cool with that, then we'll do it that way. And if all the unclaimed prizes, they just go to Frank's Fishing. I'm just kidding, Frank. All right, so here we go. Ready? I'm gonna call out 6 people right now. I'm gonna call out Greg Patterson, John Penny, Bob Albert, Seth Crowell, and Jason Rayburn. You are my top 5 spending customers of all time. And I want to say thank you for your loyalty and your commitment and your support of my brand and taking the chance on me. And some of you have an addiction problem, and there's probably a program somewhere, because I'm looking at how much you spent. And while I'm very grateful, I'd like to know where your money tree is, because I don't have one of those trees. But I'm going to send you each a code for a free rod and free shipping. All right, I'll pick 2 more people at the end of the show. Moving on. What's the next thing?
The next thing was asking about, they keep seeing an ad running where there was going to be a Chad Hoover kayak that was going to be given away.
Ooh, that's an old one. I can't comment on that. I remember that this is going back in time. I mean, this was back. I'm going to have to look into it.
I know he was on a live stream a year ago this week, so I don't know how.
I don't know. So I will get you feedback so I can look at it. Do you know where they're seeing this?
I can't tell you. I know it was a piece of contention, if you will, with Monster Bass with an angler that I know, and because he remembered seeing that, and it was something that was kind of near and dear to him, and he never remembers seeing a kayak given away. And as you know, and as you and Rafi know, I've been working a lot with Chad to promote, some events that we have over there where we're giving away kayaks and doing veterans out to sea and things like that.
Okay. I can tell you this. To my knowledge, a kayak has not been given away. I remember a lot of talk about it. Again, I'm not trying to skirt the situation. I'll look into it. I just don't remember. I just don't remember what was ever done.
I just hit you with this right to that. I mean, it's not like I didn't just hit you with this minutes ago. So it's fair to, to go back and figure out what's going on, or what, if we owe somebody something, see if we need to figure it out.
Cool. All right. What else you got for me?
And last but not least there were some folks reporting that in their April boxes, all they got were soft plastics, as if some of the other stuff had run out, kind of prior to boxes getting shipped out. And that was it that I could tell.
Tell them to contact customer service, because obviously something was missing from their box. There's not a single box. It's funny. I had this idea. I was talking with Rafi today about back to basics box where you could just pick a hard bait or a soft plastic option. But we've never shipped a box with just soft plastics. So if someone received that, have them hit support up and they'll fix it, because every box had a whopper every box had a whopper plopper this month, and I still have like 1,000 of them left.
Yeah. So, I mean, I figured something like that because I knew the whopper flopper was like the main deal, especially in this one.
Yep.
But, again, going forward, I highly recommend like your technique driven boxes too, because those will play well every year.
Yep. Agreed.
But other than that, that's all I had. And yes, the Christmas Party Gone Bad Challenge has been completed. Video is in editing now.
Can't wait to see it. All right, Gramps, listen.
Can you believe that this went on that long?
Yeah, no, I can't. I'd also like from you a list of the admin for Monster Bass Nation that have been there since day one. Not right this moment.
There was only there was only 2 of us, me and I think Jason Beck.
Okay, great. That's all I needed to know.
All right, good sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to call in as always. Thanks for what you do for the brand and for bringing this stuff to my attention. I'll get you answers on the other stuff.
Sounds great. Great. I'll be in the chat.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. We took care of some housekeeping. We gave away 5 rods. We got like 6 likes, so we're going to have to cut this show short. I'm going to have to go to therapy. But before I go to therapy, let's not waste any more time. We got a really smart guy on the phone. If you don't know this guy, okay, not only is he a hell of a bait designer, but he designed some sick-ass rods. Oh, did I just say that? All right, moms out there, you know I run a clean show sometimes, and I apologize. I'll wash my mouth out with lava soap earlier or later. All right. Not only does he design some sick baits, he designs sick rods. And so when I was thinking about like, we want to come out with rods, and rods are a big investment, and you can't afford to make mistakes. And I know nothing about rods. Heck, I know nothing about anything. I'm just a guy that really loves what he does and loves talking to you guys and building a community in the fishing space. And so, I like to just surround myself with really good people. My whole goal is to be the dumbest one in the room. And so far, so good, because our guest today is a really smart guy. And he is the president. He's the founder of Doomsday Tackle. And we partnered with Will, and he designed some rods for us. So let's give a big warm welcome to Will. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Why does your set look so much better than mine? And as I say that, I'm going to lean this way so I can side-eye Jared, because this is garbage. Look at my background. I got a picture of Reggie Jackson in the background drinking a bottle of champagne and holding a 6-pack, but that's about the coolest thing about my space. What's going on in your space?
I do live streams for some other stuff too. So,
like what?
I like going down. I do like English Premier League soccer podcasts and stuff like that. So,
football?
Yeah, we call it football. We call it soccer, but in the US, but football overseas. So,
got it.
Yeah, you got to get not only a good background, but you got to have multiple camera angles and stuff like that.
Oh, you suck, Jared.
Yep.
Can you do that again? Can you show that to me?
Yeah. Do that one more time.
Yeah. So
show Rick what
camera
he's missing.
1, camera 2.
Wow. Oh my God. I have the microphone that Joe Rogan uses, but I have only one camera angle, Jared. I said I didn't care about this. Look at that. You're fired.
SM7B. It's a good mic. Good mic.
I don't know. I told him to get rid of it. Takes too much space up. So
You just need a different kind of thing. Well, after the show, I'll hook you up.
All right. Yeah. I mean, if you also produce podcasts and you want to take over my show, Jared's we're gonna re-release Jared back to the wild so he can go off and build his empire.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, so for those at home, oh yeah, we're gonna open the hotline just a little bit. Actually, you can leave it open.
It's open.
Can you just take that for a sec for me?
Yeah.
Thanks. For those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about like how long you've been in the industry and what you've done and all that fun stuff so we can get it out of the way.
Oh my goodness. So I'm originally from Missouri, good old state of Missouri. Fished my entire life. Was kind of like my main hobby. I used to fish about 280, 290 days a year. My dad lived on a lake, a private lake in Missouri, so got a lot of fishing time in, a lot of perfecting, techniques and stuff like that. And but I've always been a tackle junkie, even more so than the fishing itself. I was into the gear. I'm a little bit of a gearhead, if you can't tell. Even when I get into something, I got to get all into it, right? So started, fishing some tournaments. I was living in Korea at the time. Started fishing some tournaments over there. Got sponsored by Berkeley,
Nice.
believe it or not, and was writing magazine articles for kind of like the Bassmaster magazine, like American Techniques in Korea. I speak Korean for people that don't know. And then 안녕하세요 if you're Korean out there. So I started writing some articles for that. That was probably around 2000, I want to say 7. And was working with them on their pro staff, helped, pick product, design product, do stuff like that, like normal pro staffers do. And then they had a spot come available. They asked me if I wanted to be a category manager for baits. And I said, sure. So started off just kind of picking product that was there for the, out of the Japanese market and US market, and decide what we're going to sell in Korea. As I started working there, seeing the drawings and stuff that came through of products that they were developing. For people who don't know, I have a graphic design background, so that's my, my trade or whatever. And I was like, I could do those. So I started doing the drawings and stuff like that. To start design, I designed, I think, 20 to 25 soft plastics for Berkeley in Asia. After about 6 months, I got put in charge because I could speak English, obviously. I got put in charge. I was a Berkeley brand business coordinator for all of Asia.
Dang.
So I was in charge of all soft bait design and product development throughout the entire region: Korea, Japan, China, Thailand, Malaysia, all those different countries out there. Go ahead.
I feel like I'm on with royalty. I mean, like, I had no idea, like, we've had an occasional cocktail or two, but like, I didn't realize that your experience was that deep. That's pretty big.
Yeah. And then I was also, because I could speak English, that was a big key over there in Asia, because, it's the local business language. Everybody speaks, even though they're all, in different countries, they all speak English to each other when they meet up. So I also got put in charge of, I was in quality control for all Arbo Garcia products in there as well. So in that, being a part of the quality control, you have to know how a rod is supposed to be built, what it's supposed to do, more so than I think even just a design part, but functionality wise, why blanks work the way they do, you have to study where they break. I think that for me was that background right there in quality control was probably the biggest component to the rod design aspect of it. Because your average guy who's a product developer, he knows what he wants to fish, but he doesn't know how a rod works. Or even the guys that are product managers for big companies and stuff like that, they don't know the engineering side of things. And while I'm not an engineer myself, because I worked in the quality control, I worked with them daily, right? This is breaking here because of this, or this isn't working right here because of that. So yeah, I mean, it was a really good experience. And I designed a couple freshwater rods for Arbor Garcia Korea, and yeah, learning, going to factory trips, going to factory visits, visiting the factories where they're made, and it was basically like, I guess you could say that from being just an average fisherman on the street to now working for one of the largest fishing tackle companies, if not the largest fishing tackle company in the world. Um, it's almost like they paid for me to go to fishing university, I guess you could
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
fishing tackle university.
Nice.
So yeah, then I came with my wife wanted to come back to the States, and so came back here, ended up somehow in Doomsday Tackle Company, and that's all she wrote, man.
Nice. What's the biggest difference between designing rods over in Asia versus designing rods over in the States?
Yeah, so in everything in the US, I guess you could say, it's a little bit of a cliche, but it's kind of bigger, badder, heavier, more robust.
Hmm.
While everything in Asia is very detail oriented. Like for them over there, it's components, right? What components are on a rod? What's the taper of the rod? What's the hang down break test? All these different aspects that most average anglers don't even really look at. They're like, oh, that's cool color, or that's a cool brand, or this is a cool thing, or I like this pro and he uses this, or this YouTuber uses that. Over there, they're really more technically focused. So because of that, you have lighter gear, you have lighter tackle, all the JDM stuff that we're familiar with over here in the US. It's just for us, it's kind of exotic and kind of niche, but for them, that's their everyday tackle, right? It's not special for them. So um, the biggest difference, and I guess where I'm kind of good for that is because I understand I lived over there for 13 years and I've obviously lived here for the other, 25 to 30 years. Um, I'm able to bridge those two, give you kind of the best of both worlds, right? A
Sure.
JDM feel, but with a, durability and price point that you would expect in the US, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So when we started making lunker sticks, I was very clear. I know nothing, and I told you, kind of where I wanted to be, price point, and all that. But like for the average guy sitting at home, what is it? When we talk about blanks, what does it mean when it's 30 ton? What does that mean? Because we're not
So
lifting up 30 tons. So
so the tonnage of a blank is your modulus or whatever is another word for it. They're kind of potato. They mean the same thing.
yeah.
Um, it's how tight. So as graphite fibers are weaved together like a blanket, right? So
Uh-huh.
you have, and it's the tightness of that weave. So the lower the tonnage, the looser the weave is. So you could say maybe like a crochet blanket or something like that.
Sure.
And then with like thread count on sheets would be a good example,
Okay.
right? So you've got 400 thread count, which is a cheaper one, right? And then you get like 1,000 Egyptian
Right.
cotton thread count, right? And so that's based on, and then you have different types of carbon fiber too. So like in the lunker stick, we use Toray carbon fiber, right? So
What does that mean?
Toray is a company in Japan. You have Mitsubishi, Toray. They do the fluorocarbon line as well for that. That you see it like a high-end JDM Toray fluorocarbon line. They probably make a lot of fluorocarbon too for
Mm.
white label other brands and stuff like that. Because there's only like 3 or 4 fluorocarbon factories in the entire world. So, but they're a manufacturer of high quality carbon fiber graphite. So there's different. Even just your graphite itself isn't the same, right? Even though the rod looks the same, or a golf club shaft or whatever, all the carbon fiber has different levels of quality, right? And then you have the scrim and the resin that's used to hold the layers together, and all of that plays a role, man, in how a rod fishes, how it feels, um, all of that stuff. So
So basically, if I knew nothing and I wanted to go build rods, I would have talked to 4 different factories. They would have told me, yeah, we can give you a 30-ton blank, Torre, whatever. And it would have been different at every factory, potentially because I wouldn't have known the right questions to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing too. Like a lot of people, even companies that get into rod design, if you're not an engineer, like if you don't have the experience with the factories, right?
Hmm.
Whether it be here in the U.S. or whether it be overseas, um, and people a lot of times, I say I'm a veteran myself. I say support American companies even if they're purchasing stuff from overseas because not everybody, not every brand can have their own factories to build all this stuff because you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of investment that's just not possible. In the United States, I think there's only like with like soft plate factories, there's like what, two,
Hmm.
right? In the entire US. You got guys that are pouring their own and self-pouring in their house and stuff like that. But as far as like mass production is
Right.
concerned, and even in the US, I think there's only maybe 4 or 5 rod companies, and only 2 of those I think are open to outside brands.
Hmm.
Um, even the high end Japanese stuff is all made in China because they just already have the look out there. Although that's moving nowadays, a lot of that's moving to Vietnam and Taiwan and stuff like that too. Because well, one, political things, and then
Sure.
two, the cost of labor is increasing a lot over there as well. So, um, but the quality of that isn't about where it's made, is where the quality comes from. Where it's made, I think, is by the person who designs it. Because if you know, like you said, if you knew the right questions to ask, you can get a quality product. If you don't know the right questions to ask, and you just say, "Hey, I want a rod. I want this on it. I want that on it," and all of those gaps that you leave, right? I mean, that's the difference. Like the more detailed you are in communication with them, the better product that you're going to get out of it in the end. If you leave holes there, they'll fill that and they'll go as cheap as possible to save money on it. But when you partner with a person who knows what they're doing and knows with the factories and stuff like that, you get a really good quality product at a really reasonable price. So,
Okay. So let's for everyone listening at home, can you what can you tell us about the blank that we used for the lunker sticks?
so the blank that we done from there is kind of like a proprietary blank that I've kind of developed over my years working, and it's called on the Doomsday side of it. The catchphrase for it is the SMR Tech blank, um, but it's a specific way. All it is a specific way that rod is rolled or wrapped, I guess you could say. So for people that don't know, you have a big giant metal rod that's the length of the rod, and it has the diameter, and then that carbon fiber is wrapped over it, kind of like if you're take a piece of paper and you kind of roll it into a cone. That's basically how fishing rods are made. And the way that that's normally done, you have sheets of graphite throughout the rod. There's going to be different types of moduluses that exist from tip to butt, and that's how you get the taper and the bend and all these different things. You have to adjust sheets. It's just the way that I've um, come up with a way of wrapping those sheets. And don't want to go into too many details out there
Hmm.
because it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
my calling card. Um, is It allows you to get a higher sensitivity of like a 40-ton rod, but
Mm.
in a 30-ton modulus blank, which gives you the so if you think of um, modulus is the higher the tonnage, the more stiff the carbon fiber is. So the higher the sensitivity. So that's why in a 40-ton or 50-ton or 60-ton or whatever tonnage that you have, you get more and more sensitivity. And the lower the tonnage, the more flexible it is. That's like looking at a
Mm.
glass or fiberglass rod or a composite rod. You can get really noodly rods that way, which is good in some applications. But it's a lower modulus graphite. Well, I've found kind of like this like superior mix. That's what SMR tech means, some superior mix ratio of how to get the benefits of a 40-ton blank in a 30-ton blank sensitivity wise, but with the durability of a 30-ton blank over a 40-ton, because a 40-ton will break easier than a 30-ton.
Wait a minute. Say that again. A 40-ton blank will break easier than a 30-ton.
Yes, yeah, but it'll be more sensitive because it's more rigid, right? More brittle. But if you think of vibrations, so that's
Sure.
what you're feeling. Your sensitivity is the vibrations that you're feeling about it. And if you imagine a guitar string,
Yeah.
right, in your head, and you're going to feel more vibrations in something that's stiff and rigid when it's when it's plucked or strung. Like when you tighten the strings real tight,
Right,
you're gonna
right.
get a lot of vibration. But when the string's loose, it's
Yeah,
just gonna go. Rup, 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 right?
got
It
it.
doesn't, it's not gonna do anything. So the higher the tonnage is, the more sensitivity you're gonna get. But it's gonna be brittle, right? A string on a guitar that's really tight is easier to break than a string that's loose, right? Because the loose string has more flexibility, has more give, right?
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So basically, all those expensive rods everyone's buying, the sensitivity's there, but you got a bigger chance that you're gonna bust a $500 rod. So you better have a good warranty program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Now that's why quality control is really important, right? And knowing how a rod's built. Now, if you find some of these guys, like take a brand like Arbo Garcia, for example. I'm just going to use them as an example
Sure.
because I worked with them before. I have a lot of experience with their stuff. They've spent a lot of time over the years developing a quality factory base, right? Because I mean, you probably know, like in China, there's 10,000 factories
Sure.
that make stuff,
Yeah.
right? Some of them are really good.
Yep.
Some of them are awful. So unless you know what you're doing, luckily I was able to learn, I guess you could say, their pool of factories. And so not choosing the right one can really cause, a, a huge issue. But luckily
Yeah.
that's not the case for.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Knock on wood. Our initial order was 1,000 rods, and we've had two problems. And one was just there was a little bit too much epoxy on the tip, so that was easy. And we had one snap. Other than that, we haven't had a single problem. And again, knock on lots of wood, and a big thank you to you for helping us construct one hell of a product. What do you say? We got someone on the line. What do you say we take a question?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from, and what's your PB?
I'm from Oregon, personal best. Oh, that's a tough one. 19-inch smallmouth here in Oregon.
Okay, buddy.
So I got a couple questions. First is about the fishing rods. So is there a difference in making, like, what all goes into the different rods that there are? There's fly rods, there's spin rods. Are they all made the same? I've had rods snap, and I've had rods that have freaking doubled over from logs. So what determines that?
The thing so as far as the different types of rods, they're not all made the same. Obviously, like a deep shore fishing rod and a bass rod and a fly rod, there's different things that are needed in order to make that rod perform the way that the angler wants, right? Like you're not going to be catching 60-70 pound groupers with a lunker stick, unfortunately, right? It's just not meant to handle
right
it.
right
And in the same way, you don't want to use a deep sea fishing rod for fly fishing, right? I mean, that's overkill, right? So there's a difference there. But as far as whether a rod breaks or not, really comes down to the engineer who made it, or the designer, and making sure that there's a quality control, that the rod is tested before that into production. So throughout those times, the reason why the lunker stick is a really quality rod, and the reason why he's had one breakage and all of that, is because the particular factory that I work with, I have requirements with them that every rod goes through a specific rigorous testing protocol. Not every single piece, but randomly, and then they're tested in order to meet certain criteria. And if some brands are negligent in doing that, that's where you can have problems. And then two, the components that you put on the rod, the way you put them on the rod. There's a lot of, people don't realize that even like hook hangers on rods, that's a breakage point. Anything that's digging into the blank that can cause micro nicks and micro kicks and tears. The guide wrapping, if it's not done right, can all cause a rod to break. You know, Even believe it or not, like if you bundle 5 or 6 rods together and the guides are clicking and clacking and scratching on the against each other, that can cause damage to the rod blank, that can cause a break that doesn't seem like it's reasonable. You know what I mean? So, but you can tell the difference between
Right.
a damaged blank and a regular blank by the way it breaks.
Okay. So, can you give us some examples of what kind of testing you put in the rods? 'Cause that sounds,
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
so
interesting.
you
I've
do
always
like
wondered, you know,
yes, you do like, so there's the difference between fighting strength and tip hang down strength, right? So for example, you could take a lunker stick and probably pull a car with it if you're holding it at a 45-degree angle and you're pulling and walking backwards. You're going to be able to it'll be able to stand pulling a car. But at
okay,
perpendicular, so at 90 degrees, how much weight does it take for that rod to break by pulling it straight down like that? And so
right,
basically, all of the rods have a minimum requirement of 2 kilogram tip hang down test. So that's what 2 kilograms is like, what, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, something
Mhm.
like that. Maybe more than
right,
that. No, it's about that. Yeah. So you could basically almost boat, high stick a 4 or 5 pound bass. I don't recommend doing that, but that's the
right,
bar that they randomly have to make in order to for that group of rods to work, because it's all in the manufacturing a rod. You can have
right,
one run of rods that all are great, and then you can get next batch, in order, and you have
mm,
35 breaks in that order, and that's because something happened in the manufacturing process. A resin wasn't applied evenly, a scrim
Mm.
wasn't applied evenly, it wasn't rolled evenly.
What's
So
scrim?
so it's kind of like the glue that holds the layers of graphite together as they're rolled, right? So
right,
there's, as the graphite passes through and it gets put on like a scrim before it rolls, it's like a machine, right? And then
Mhm.
it rolls it around the mandrel, and that's what holds or glues the rod together. So
Mm.
yeah.
okay. What do you do with rods that don't meet your standard? Like if a rod breaks, do you guys just scrap them, or do you recycle them and try and make another rod? What is the process for that?
Yeah, you'd want them to scrap them, right? Because they're no good, right? Like I'd rather
Right,
waste. I don't know how graphite, if it can be recycled or not. I'm not that into it. I mean, that's really kind of down to the factory's deal. But before it even leaves to the factory, before it's even paid for, they've made sure that it's passed those requirements before it ships.
all right, fair on. What is do you use your own company's fishing rods, or do you have other fishing rods from other companies? And if so, what's your favorite?
I only use rods that I've designed and made, right? So I definitely use a Monster Bass bunker stick. I'd use Doomsday rods, of course. But
Not an ugly stick.
the thing I would use an ugly stick for, ugly sticks can make a good cranking rod, to be honest with you. Although they've messed with the ugly stick now in the last couple of years to try to hip it up and stuff like that. So I don't know. I haven't used one in so long, but the ugly stick lights. I don't know if you remember that one. It had blue and black accents rather than the orange. Those made
Hmm.
a tremendous crankbait rod. So,
Hmm.
but and then of course anything that's if I'm gonna go saltwater fishing, I'm using an ugly stick.
There you go. All
Right on.
right.
So,
Go ahead.
one of the guys wants to know if you have any glass mixed rods for chatterbait. Gramps wants to know that.
You can use a glass mixed, or what they call a composite rod for chatterbaits. That's okay, but if a chatterbait rod is made correctly, it can be 100% graphite, And I'm going to tell you, but have the right taper, right? So that's the kicker. You got to know the taper to get that same bend that you would get from a composite rod. But I'm telling you right now, if you have a rod with a really good high vibration, super sensitive rod, you can feel every tick of that blade as you're pulling that chatterbait through the water. And as soon as you hang up on grass or you get a bite, you'll know it immediately. And that's the thing. The less carbon fibers in a rod, the more glass that's in the rod, the less sensitivity you're going to get. But I would definitely use like a moderate fast taper for a chatterbait rod. So, sure.
All right, right on.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
I got a question for Rick.
Oh, go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, Rick, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Early spring. It's about 80, hitting 92 tomorrow here in Oregon. What would your go-to spring bass lure be that you would throw? I got the Walker Plopper. I've never had one. I'm so psyched to throw it, man.
Throw that.
What would you throw?
Why not throw that?
Okay. Yeah, I plan on it, and
But
how would I fish that?
But
go ahead.
You said it's gonna be really hot tomorrow.
Yeah, 92.
Well, that's pretty hot. Where do you think the fish are gonna be?
Yeah.
Where do you think the fish are gonna be when it's that hot out? What's the water temp?
They're probably going to be deep. Oh, geez, water temp. Let's see. It's up in the mountains.
Probably cold.
I'm not sure what the temp's going to be. Probably a little cold.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going to want to know. You want to know the water temp.
Yeah. So say the water temp is 54.
That's pretty cold, man.
Yeah.
Are they even moving?
What do you think?
It's 54 degrees.
Oh, I haven't checked the water temp yet, but from what I'm seeing, people are hauling bass out. So
I don't know, Will. What are you throwing?
Is the water really clear?
It should be, unless it's. I think it would be clear.
Yeah. So I would say like something like if you're looking at 54-degree water temps, if the water's super clear, I'd probably run something like at 54 degrees, like a jerk bait, stuff like that. Soft plastic wise, they're not going to be moving a whole lot, so I would stick with finesse or slower moving techniques on that side, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because the water temperature is key.
Well,
ambient air temp is not so much as important as water temp.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot here lately. Like 82, 80, and it's supposed to be in the 80s, 60s, and 70s all the rest of the week. I'm like, well, if the air temp is rising, hopefully that means the water temp is rising.
Yeah, it will over time eventually, yeah. I mean, that was why I check when you're there for that day. Because if the water temp's in the 70s, you can pretty much throw anything you want. They're going to be active and moving. Once it gets, especially mid-60s, they're going to be, fairly active. When it gets above 75, then they start to go deep again. Right. But they like that, 65-degree water temp. That's kind of the peak. That's what they like. It's the comfortable.
Well, there you go, bro.
All right.
So listen.
Awesome.
I want to say thanks for calling in and asking all those good questions. I want you to DM me with your email address and stuff, and I'm going to send you something.
Okay.
All right.
You want me to put it in the chat, or where would you like me to email it?
I want you to email me at rick@monsterbass.com. I'll give you a code for a rod. How's that?
Oh, that sounds good.
All right, bro. See you later.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Okay. Wow, that was a lot of questions.
It's good questions, though.
Yeah, I like it. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I want to say thanks to Rafi for Rafi's in the chat right now. If you didn't notice, he's in there, And Jared's still here. I don't understand. Thought we fired him, but he's still here. So, Will, switching topics only because, I'm here. And are those watches in the back?
Yeah, they are. They're watches.
You,
I like to collect watches.
Bring them out.
oh,
Bring 'em out.
snap.
Which one do you want to see?
I don't know.
Your
Why don't you
favorite.
pick out your favorite one? Let's see what you got in there.
My favorite one in here is I'm a micro brand guy.
Okay.
So I like, this isn't really a micro brand, but this is the newest one because it was kind of my baby. But this is the new Seiko GMT. It just came out last year.
Okay. All right. Give me the details on this thing.
So, it's got, it's an automatic watch. I think it's 21 joule, 80-hour power reserve, something like that. Open case back, stainless steel blade. It doesn't have a sapphire crystal because Seiko doesn't use sapphire crystal unless you're looking at like Grand Seiko or something like that. But yeah, it's just a really good quality, watch at a fairly reasonable price. I mean, it's not a luxury brand. I mean, it's not worth, $5,000-$6,000 or $100,000 or $300,000, but it's
what is it? So is that an everyday watch?
$700.
$700.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, $600-$700.
Yeah.
And then
So-
you have like my favorite micro brand is here, and this one is they're getting free promotion, I guess, on your show. So Phoebus, if you want to sponsor Rick, give him a call. The company's name is Phoebus, and it's a micro brand, and it has sapphire crystal, base, a sapphire crystal. It's got the really nice like meteorite dial, and then the glow on this thing's amazing. Stainless steel with screw-in links. This runs you about $400.
Wow.
So this is probably the best bang for your buck. That's the way that I like to do things for me personally. I like to go biggest bang for your buck, and even in the products that I develop, I want to give the consumer more than what they're paying for, and that's exactly what this was. So I have like 3 or 4 of these.
So I'm guessing you have a podcast where you talk about stuff like this.
Sometimes, yeah, I talk about watches. I also collect sunglasses too. This other case over here is full of sunglasses and
Sunglasses.
yeah, like I'm into aviators and stuff like that. So
That's an
And these
interesting.
ones-
That's an interesting thing to collect. I've never heard of someone collecting sunglasses.
we've got like a ridiculous amount. I probably have 15 to 16 pairs of aviator sunglasses.
And how many total sunglasses in your collection?
Just sitting right here is 12. Plus, I have another one of these upstairs. That's 24. And then maybe 1 or 2 lying around.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah.
I think our next
with
call.
the sunglasses, because it's a little bit cheaper. I can go into higher brands, Da Vinci, Gucci,
Sure.
Stuff like that.
The higher brands.
My favorite watch that is kind of like old school is this is maybe one people have heard about a little bit more, but like you have Belova Lunar Pilot, a good watch too.
Yeah.
And then Hamilton Khaki automatic,
Yeah.
too.
I like that. I like there was this one that I wanted and I really entertained it for a little bit, but it has so IWC makes this white ceramic watch. And but it's got Top Gun written all over it. I was like, I can't get it. I can't have a watch that says Top Gun. I just can't do it. Not at that price.
It's got Top Gun on it.
No, it says Top Gun on the back.
Okay, on the back.
It's
of
their
it.
I don't know.
Kind of like the Omega 007.
Yeah.
I got you.
Anyway. All right.
I think Omega. If I was going to go luxury brand, I would probably pick Omega, or Tudor, because if you're buying for like an investment, you want to buy Rolex because it's going to keep its value and or go up. Right? It'll go up and down, it's like Bitcoin or something like that. But it'll it'll hold its value pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be well over. But if you're looking just to have like quality, the best quality timepiece, I would go with Tudor. You're basically getting Rolex quality at half the price.
Yeah.
And then Omega. Those are my two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy during COVID how much Rolexes went up. Like they went skyrocket. It was like double the price.
Or just like 4 or 5 times.
Oh my God, it was so dumb. Anyway,
you had like Submariners that like had a retail price of $12,000 to $15,000 going for 60 and 70 grand.
Yeah, yeah.
So still are some of them.
So silly. All right, let's take another call. Go ahead, caller. Where are you from and what's your PB?
I'm from Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri. And my PB, not too much, probably about 3 pounds, honestly.
That's okay. We all got a PB, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to break it this summer. That's for sure.
Right on. You got a question for Will?
Yeah. I actually got a question for either one of you. So I recently got into like bigger swim baits and everything, and I just recently got a Daiwa Tatula reel along with the Shimano SLX, and I plan on getting a rod for the swim baits to put with the Daiwa. But what do you think is a good standard for throwing bigger swim baits? I was thinking of like a 7.4 heavy that could go between like a 1/2 ounce to a 2 ounce.
What's the weight of the swim bait?
I got multiples. Most of them are ranging between 1 ounce to 2 ounces, though. That's why I'm kind of sticking to that one. That range.
Yeah. So a little bit about this is a good question actually, because it's the rod, the lure and line ratings. I don't know about other companies. I don't know what they do, but for the lunker sticks, the way that the lure and line ratings are on the rod is that's the weight of the lure that gets you the best use out of the rod. So it can, like, if a rod's rated for 2 ounce up to 2 ounces, you can throw more than that, and it's not going to snap on you, right? But the line rating for that to 2 ounces. So when you get to that reek point, you're going to get too much flex, right? If you go more than that, so you're not going to be able to cast it accurately. It's going to feel heavy. It's going to be awkward. So usually you want to try to find a rod, and then that your bait fits around the middle to the 3/4 mark. That's really where you're going to get the best. The rod's going to load the best when you're casting it. So if you're
I got you.
Now, if 2 ounces is the highest rating one, and that's what you got, that'll work. It'll do it. It'll do the job, but it just may feel a little bit heavy on the tip, but it'll still load the way it's supposed to. It's supposed to operate well. It's supposed to load well between that range, right? So from here to here, you should be able to functionally fish. But yeah, you just want to match the lure and line rating with your baits. Make sure it falls within that zone. Optimally, the best place to be is around, between 1/2 and 3/4 of that rating. Is where you're going to get the best action from that rod. And then reel size wise, what?
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and then what reel?
I got a 7. I have the Shimano SLX DC, and I got that, and a 7. I believe it's 731 or so. I believe, and then the Daiwa is the 731 version.
And what size
it's
spool?
the
What size line do you plan on throwing?
SBTWS.
What's the spool size on the reel?
Whatever. Well,
like a 100, 150.
The spool size, I'd have to check on that. I think it's a 150. It's a 150.
Yeah, 150 should be fine.
I'm pretty sure it's 150. Yeah.
Unless
But the thing, I'm probably gonna throw heavy. I'm probably gonna throw heavy fluorocarbon. That's what I normally throw, is just fluorocarbon. I know a lot of people are into the braid fluorocarbon leader thing, but just I haven't had no wrong done with the straight fluorocarbon, so that's what I probably use. Probably 20-pound fluoro.
Yeah, I mean, 150. You could even go up a little bit bigger than that. Some brands make like a deeper spool reel. If you're throwing 20-pound fluoro straight. I think a lot of guys are doing the braid leader thing now, just because they don't have to use such a big reel. I don't know, like I don't even know if they still make it, like the Arbo Garcia Beast. I don't know if you guys remember those back in the day, the big old giant.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But,
Okay. And that, yeah, see, I haven't got the rod yet to pair with it yet. That's why I'm trying to find gather as much information I can on what would be the best bet, to get for bigger swim baits. But
let me
that actually clears up.
You could talk to Rick for a second about. I'll actually look up the lunker sticks and give you like an actual recommendation.
Okay.
Of those models.
Okay. Awesome.
Got to pull it up though.
Yeah, I just got they have a lot of there's been lately just swim baits have been what I've been liking to throw, and like I don't know if you guys are familiar, I'm sure you are, with the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yep.
I go fishing
That's where I grew
fishing
up,
there
man.
a lot. And oh nice. Yeah. Me and a buddy, we go fishing out there a lot.
Yeah, so
hoping I think
swim baits, you're definitely gonna want to go with a 7.4 heavy for sure. That's probably gonna be your best bet for that one there. I think that one's rated up to 2 ounces, I do believe. If not, maybe 1.5. But that's definitely the one. The casting 7.4 heavy. And for people that were curious about chatterbaits, I'd recommend for the chatterbait. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's probably gonna be the best chatterbait rod you've ever used. Is the 7.4 medium, heavy, moderate, fast. That's the one you want for chatterbaits.
Okay. I really appreciate that. Actually, it gives me some insight on what I should be looking for whenever I get the chance to get the rod. That's what I already had. I had planned a 7.4 heavy, but I wanted to, get some information on it to see what would be the best, and that actually cleared up out of my worries on that.
Yeah, I mean it should be fine. It's gonna feel up to, if you get up to the 2 ounce range, it's gonna feel like it's pulling on you a little bit. So I wouldn't do a whole lot of overhead casting. Maybe do some side swipes. You should be fine that way.
Okay.
But most people don't overhand cast 2 ounce swim baits anyway, right? So should be good to go on that. And then it should hold line. The line rating on that's up to 30 pounds, so you should be good.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. That was pretty much the only question I had.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for calling in. Do me a favor.
Right.
Email me your contact info. I'm going to send you something.
Okay, I got you. Like, what's your email? It's linked to the YouTube, or?
You could just send it to rick@monsterbass.com.
Okay, I got you. All right, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
man. All right, man. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Bye. All right, what time we got? How we doing on time? I know it's the it's the East Coast. Well, we got the NFL draft and we got people, I want to make sure we're taking care of everybody. Someone asked a question, what's the shipping time on rods? All of our rods ship FedEx. If you place an order today, it'll ship tomorrow. And we haven't had we've only had one problem shipping a rod. And that was because of I don't know. I can't even say
it happens, but it's weird. But and I want people to know in the audience, if you get shipped a rod and it comes in 2 pieces, trust that is not the fault of the rod and has everything to do with the carrier, because the tubes, even the tubes that Rick uses and the tubes that I use, I weigh 210 pounds. And I can jump on one of my tubes and it doesn't even crush or budge or move at all.
Yeah.
So if that comes in 2 pieces, know that, forklift, it gets stuck in a belt on a like it's not normal things that it's supposed to survive. It's definitely the fault of the carrier.
Yeah, no, I overpaid. I went a little thicker on those rod tubes. Like I was like, I'm not taking any chances because I know my warehouse and I know UPS and FedEx and DHL and I know how they treat packages. So I'm like, I'd rather overpay a little bit for solid tubes. And then of course Gramps gave me a little tip. You take the butt end and you tape it to the end so that the tip never has a chance to go all the way to the other end. And so we've been doing that, and we've had, again, knock on wood, none damaged in transit. So there we go.
I'll give you a good tip for that too.
All right, go ahead.
If you take, bubble wrap, I do 12 inch by 2 foot strips. So it's like a foot by 2 foot, like a rectangle. Fold it over 3 times by about, this much, 3 or 4 inches. And then, the normal wrap that it's in, fold it over the rod and then wrap it that way. And it makes basically like this big ball of bubble wrap on the end and the tip.
Yeah.
So the rod kind of sits in there suspended, and it never touches the tip and it never touches the sides.
Yeah. I like that.
So that's what we do.
I like that. Good stuff. Good stuff. So what? So let's talk a little bit about your business, because we've talked a lot about rods, and I appreciate that you took good care of us in designing a quality product. Let's talk a little bit about your business for those that don't know Doomsday and all that. But let's talk about why don't we share that with our audience? Like, who is Doomsday?
Yeah. Doomsday Tackle Company. We've been around for how long has it been, Rick? 2015, 2016. I think my first week on the job was July of 2015. No joke, from the time that I signed on the dotted line to now, till the first day of ICAST was 4 days. So my first day thing in there was straight to ICAST. We got really big really fast, and then some things happened. Like I said, on the manufacturing side, this is on the bait side. We started off designing soft baits. I do a lot of soft bait design. I've designed now, how many? I don't even know how many soft baits I've designed now, but a ton of those. We started off with baits, but then we kind of got into we did the big box thing. We were in 700 Dick's Sporting Goods stores. We were in Cabela's, Academy, all the big box stores, and baits. The problem with baits is you just got to sell an absolute ton of them, and to make any money. So we added the rods thing too, because for me, that's the thing. And the rods for us has really been, I think, the biggest success. So baits we've kind of put on the back burner now. We're focusing on that, and luckily for us, we're still a small company and a small brand, but we survived COVID when a lot of brands didn't. A lot of guys and faces you used to see at shows and stuff like that aren't around anymore, and that's sad, but we're hanging in there. Thanks to good people like the people watching in the chat and buying our stuff and enjoying it. I tell you what, we don't have a lot of customers who buy our rods, but the ones who've tried it, they keep coming back, man. Like you look that up. I've got guys that have spent $25,000. One customer just on rods. I'm like, what are you doing with all those? Like you mentioned it earlier in the show. Like, why have you bought so many?
Yeah.
What are you doing with them?
Yeah. And
but yeah, man, it's amazing. And the reason why, Doomsday Tackle, we're just a brand it's based on and designed around, the fisherman. Like, you can go, it's the same reason why I like micro brands and watches, right? The guys who are making this watch, they care about the details, right? And they care about the quality that they're putting into it, and also giving it to you at the best price possible. The bigger brands, they don't care, man. Margin is king. They just want to make as much. Look, I don't mind making money myself, but they want to make the most money possible. They'll cut corners. How many mainstream big branded of rods have you heard just break after break after break after break after break after break after break?
Yeah.
And it's different in a small company. If you, it's probably not like Rick, but you can call me up. Call me up, order something, call me up, have a chat. You want to know about what rod you choose for this or that? I answer your phone calls, and I'm the guy that made the rod. I can seat you in and set you up for it. So, kind of like a custom fitting, I guess you could say, for golf clubs, right? I mean, it's that kind of care that
Yeah,
that you're putting into customer service. So,
for sure.
that's what Doomsday is about, and that's what we do. And we just design rods, try to give people, like all of our rods, like even the Lunker Stick, and then all the rods at Doomsday Tackle Company. If you were to go to any other brand to get the same quality of blank and component, you'd be spending at least 2 times the price. So,
I just added the link to Doomsday Shop up on the screen, so you
Thank
guys
you, I
can see
appreciate
it
it.
if you need if you guys need a link for or anything. I don't know who just called in, but someone just dialed in and then hung up before I was gonna bring them into the thing. So if you want to call back, I'll bring you back on. So, yeah.
Yeah. But like, just, I mean, because that's really important, right? Like the quality of the blank and the quality of the components, right? The Lunker 6 got good quality stuff. The Doomsday Tackle stuff has really good quality stuff. Like our high end rod, which is like $200, I think $50 regular price point, which is not very high end, but it has the same blank quality of blank and components that you'd get on like St. Croix Legend Extreme, which is $600-$700 rod, a Megabass Destroyer, which is what, $500-$600. The exact same fishability, components, and quality of a blank, and I would argue because of my proprietary system that I use, better than, you know, uh, for half the price, man. It's unreal. So,
All right.
it's
Hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to T-Rex. I know he's fishing. He is fishing. What the heck is it? The Laughlin Open. He put up 13.6 pounds today. 100-degree weather. It was a beast out there. But
where are you guys at that it's 100 degrees outside? I live in
California
Atlanta right now, and
oh,
it's 60
California.
degrees.
No, it's hot. It's gonna get really hot. Yeah,
It's 60 and raining today, but I don't know what's going on.
crazy. So, all right. We got time for a couple more questions. So I got the phone line open. We're gonna take 2. But in the meantime, I want to acknowledge one other customer. He is number 6 or 7 on my list. And it's funny because you'd think I'd know the top 6, 7 guys. I only recognized a few of the names. But this guy, he's actually in the chat, I think. Or I haven't seen him chat in a little bit, but he's here. And so I just want to give I want to say that I see this guy's name show up more than anyone else's. He writes more product reviews than anyone else. I swear he writes a product review on every product he ever receives. And I always see him in the chat. And so I want to say thank you to Brian Rand. So if you're in the chat, I'd love to see it. But Brian, you spent a lot of money on my website, and I want to say thank you. And so I'm sending you a rod as well. So be on the lookout. I'll set you guys up. I've got your email address, so you guys don't need to do anything. I'm going to take good care of you. So I just want to say thank you. So
people are asking for discount codes and stuff like that. If anybody wants a discount code, just use like CJ25 and then % sign, and I'll save you 25%.
Well, shit. I was going to give him 20%. Now I got to follow up with 25. No, I'm just kidding.
That's just the code. It's actually a code for an old staff member who's not even staff with us anymore. It's just for whatever reason, it's the one that sticks in my head. So when somebody asks me for a code, I just get them.
Yeah.
Still active.
Yeah, listen, I always remember, not only at this company, but at my last company that I was at, I still remember AJ Gore's promo code.
There you go.
And I bet it's probably still active.
Big up AJ. I love AJ's.
I love AJ Gore. Oh, someone's asking about golden tickets, and I guess I could do some golden tickets too. Even though I said at the top of the show that we were going to get rid of the numbers. I was just going to call out people's names. So if you're just tuning in now, I'm going to start calling out names. Make it really easy. But I'll still call some numbers. 10940, 10319, 09698, 09586, 09077, and 08456. If you've got one of these golden ticket numbers, you know what to do. Email me at marketing@monsterbass.com. Take a picture of the ticket and yourself, and we'll send you something out. And hopefully one of you guys will win, because I got boxes lined up in the garage, and I'd love to get rid of some more stuff. T-Rex doesn't want me to, because T-Rex, when he rolls into town, comes in, he's like, oh, please, I need some more stuff. It's for the kids. And I'm like, okay, fine, take it all. But there you have it. Let me see. Oh, we actually have a caller. Oh, God, this guy. All right, I just want to preface this. This guy is going to sit here, and he's going to sit here and talk to me about 8-foot rods and blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to, you know what? Enough of me talking. Go ahead. Here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Ha, ha, ha. I know you thought I was going to bring up the rods first. The first thing I'm going to say is, Rick, I saw you on the gram in a suit and tie. I said, did Rick tie the knot this weekend? I was like, oh, my God, the man has done it again. He said, I do, in the middle of spring. Oh, my goodness. Don't worry, man. We'll get a chance to talk about the rods in a second. Just saying hello. And hello to the guy who's talking about the rods, because Rick has hyped you up for the last year, talking about my rod designer and the rods that he's going to bring to the table. People are happy with the rod. He's talking about the 8-foot rods, but I'm not even going to say about 8-foot rods. When I talk about rods to you, Rick says he can only do in 7-Eleven, but give me a 17-inch handle, give me a good backbone, and give me a fast taper. Give me some steel guides or something that's reliable, that can toss anything, a 1-ounce to a 6-ounce swim bait, and that'll make me happy. Now, Brendan's going to come on. He'll tell you from Brown Bait. He'll tell you what he wants, because he makes baits. Me, I just throw the baits. So at this time, I'm just going to give you simple stuff. You ain't even got to do it right now. Rick said he'll do it sometime later in the year. So by the time swim bait season gets back in the fall and winter, you'll be here with a nice monster bass rod, and hopefully we'll be able to chunk some big baits around.
Yeah, how long in the handle did you say?
Give me about a 17-inch handle. So 17 inches is good enough, to tuck underneath my shoulder. You got to have a little backbone when you're fighting something, that's big. And you got to have your drag set right to fight a big fish. So the goal is at least a 17-inch handle. And you can still make it a 7-Eleven, type size, and save that 1 inch that you want to save on the shipping. And that's fine, because I'm working with 7-Eleven. But an 8-foot, 8.4 sometimes is good to throw a big swim bait rod. I went with a Kuma Guide Select when I first started with swim baits, and I'm still using a Kuma Guide Select. But Rick, you know the thing when you say the name and the brand Monster Bass. We gotta have a big rod to catch big fish with a Monster Bass rod that's throwing swim baits.
But don't worry. Anytime Rick wants to have me design a swim bait rod for him, I mean, I've already got on our high-end series in the Doomsday line, we have some, but they're a little bit shorter handles. They're about a 14-inch handle. They're not quite 17 inches. I'm a pretty big dude, and 14 inches, it's a good, unless you're holding it out like this or something, but, here where I can comfortably reel with both hands, it's sitting underneath my armpit. But 17 inches, that's a lot of people saying. Like, I hear that's the word on the street. I don't know why 17 is the deal, but that's what everybody says, 17 inches. But yeah, we could do that. There's a way that you could do it too. If you really wanted to get into it, especially like on a higher end rod where you're looking at a higher price point, you could do a spigot joint into the reel seat, where you could pull that off and it breaks down to less than 8 feet, so you can ship it. And then when you put it together, it could be anywhere to 8.4, 8.5, 8.6. So yeah. I've got the blank already for a swim bait rod. That's a monster. You can chuck up to 8 ounces on it, and it's good to go, man.
See, already you made me happy, Rick. I'm telling you, the man already knows how to warm my heart. Exactly at this time, you've made the guys like Brendan and a few of the guys here that are throwing swim baits a little bit happier. There's nothing wrong with throwing a lighter rod and still catching big fish. But the guys that are chunking big swim baits need that extra beefier rod, and we know it's going to be a little extra
It's not
price
beef
point.
either. It's going to be
and
light.
I think it's going to
It'll
be
be light
expected.
too. That's the thing. It'll be 7'11". It'll be light and it'll chuck 8 ounces. Doesn't have to be heavy. Doesn't have to be a broomstick to toss monster stuff.
Well, that's going to be extra special. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a unique swim bait rod, and I tell me it's going to outsell probably all the swim bait rods for the next 2 years. If you make it that way, number one bass swim bait rod will be Monster Bass, and that will be something to see.
Sounds good.
So, Will, somebody's asking if you could say what that promo code is again.
I'll just
they missed it.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right, we'll put it in the chat. I'm gonna put one too. So if someone wants to pick up a lunker stick,
Well, that's going up, guys. If you guys haven't joined Rick's VIP list, officially, Rick puts out stuff every week, and he said he made a boo-boo with his email. But he's not going to make those boo-boos that often. Get on Rick's VIP list. We send out codes and stuff Monday and Friday. You want to get yourself some deals at the Monster Bass site. You definitely want to have one of those codes and be on his VIP list to save yourself some money.
there you have it. And it's like you started talking about swim baits, Mr. Gambit, and you know who called in? Yeah, Brendan.
So Brendan's already on the line.
He's already on the line. You know what? Let's just get him in. We'll all just sit here and talk now. Hold on.
Okay,
Go ahead, Brendan.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How's everything going?
What's
Good,
up,
very
buddy?
Hey, Mr. Gambit. Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir. They're going to make us our rods, man, and you can go and give them your specifications. He gave me some great specifications already, so you tell him what you like. If he ever goes to your site, look at those pretty baits you're making. Rick Brennan already talked about he's working on a color for me. He's going to give me a honey mustard type of swim bait and a crankbait that he's going to make for me sometime this year. He's got to work on the color. When he gets that, that's going to be the hot seller on the Monster Bass site.
Yeah, I'll figure out something for that color. I don't know. I'm thinking of some sort of pearl in there. I don't know. I'll be thinking on it still, but I think would be awesome. And this is kind of like a newish thing that's happening in like the swim bait world. Is a lot of these companies are making these multi-piece rods. Now I know they've done them before, but they're definitely getting a little bit better. So like the Leviathan rod is Leviathan makes one, F5 makes one, the concealed carry. Those things are extremely light, but the cool thing is they break down into 3 pieces, but they're ferruled so that they have the ability to break down in 3 pieces, but they're extremely strong whenever you put them on there. You twist them on and they lock right into place. And it is extremely hard to pop those things off. So I think if we made like a 2 or 3 piece swim bait rod, that'll fix a lot of issues. Because sometimes the rod lockers on some boats are kind of like short and they don't go to 8 foot. So that would allow us to get that 8 foot rod while still keeping it, under the shipping, length, which would be awesome. I think if you guys would be able to pull that off.
Yeah, I have a way that we could get even an 8'4", 8'5", 8'6" rod into a tube.
Okay.
It's not really done here. I don't want all, because all those other brands out there are watching us right now, stealing all my secrets. But there's a way that we could get that under 8 foot. If it's something that Rick wants to do in the Lunker stick series or in the higher end series, if he decides to do that. That we could do that with in the future. This is the thing with swim bait rods, and this is why they never come out usually in a first release, is because they're pretty niche, right? And they're usually the most expensive to make and the least the least amount of numbers that you move, right? So that's and then even on the shipping side of things too. I don't know if people realize this, but I'll tell you because I think it's silly. At 96 inches, the cost to ship a rod on average retail is around $40 to $45. At 96 1/8,
dang,
it's $125.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
that's insane.
So it's
I didn't even know that.
quarter,
Like,
the
that's
eighth
like,
of an inch.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the eighth of an inch doubles or triples the price of shipping. That eighth of an inch. So that's why manufacturers don't make
That's crazy.
That's why everything's 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
710.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nuts.
But what we save some
Yeah,
money, guys, Mega Bass makes a sectional, rod that you break down to travel, and the tackle bassing guys have been using that particular rod. That's an idea, Brendan. If they do it in 4 sections, he can make it anywhere from 7-Eleven up to 8.5 feet. That'd be something unique if they made it in 4 sections.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can do
The
it
only
in
thing
one
that I would be
section,
worried
and I can-
about is
What would
Oh,
you
you
be
go ahead,
worried
Will.
about?
one section.
Sorry.
I could do it in one section, and I could do it where it would look like a one-piece rod. You wouldn't even know it was a two-piece rod. If you
ooh,
did that.
oh yeah, you ferrule at the real seat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get anything
Yeah.
by Brandon.
I think the only thing I'd be worried about if we did like a 7 or an 8.6 is that's like a lot of rod, and that's like a lot more power usually. Even if it's a softer action, that's a lot of power, and it doesn't cast or work those smaller baits like a
You could
TK
do that in 8
or
foot.
something
We
like
could
a
do
little
it at,
Chad. Those,
yeah, you could do.
you
You could
know.
do it at 8 foot. You could do it at 6 foot. It doesn't matter the length, right? But I'm just saying being able to break it down like that in order to be able to ship
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But that's the thing too.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
yeah, totally.
So the way that they built two-piece rods back in the day when we were all young growing up, where you go to Walmart and you find a two-piece rod, it's basically bottom blank over top blank or top blank over bottom blank, right? It's just a slide on there. That not only does that reduce
Mhm.
sensitivity, but it reduces the curve and all of these things too. The key way to do it now, or the way that they do it in
Okay.
Japan, because everything is 2 or 3 pieces in Asia for the most part. They have one-piece stuff too, but two-piece rods are
Mhm.
far more common, even in bass fishing. And they use a spigot joint, and you can't tell the difference. You can see it, but functionally, as far as the taper is concerned, it's every bit as it might be a little less sensitive than a true one-piece rod, but it's going to be the same, almost the exact same quality, far better than the stuff that they do over here in the U.S. So, yeah,
Okay,
you can do that, no problem.
nice.
And for the two of you, because I know how excited you guys are, we are putting the finishing touches on the aggressively average anglers finesse stick.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Yeah, see, crickets.
I love
You-
finesse. You know it.
Yeah, I know. You're like, yeah, that's great. Really nice. Really, really
I don't
nice.
have
But
spinning
I
rod
was
anymore.
I was
I gave
teaching
it
those
away.
guys before, man. I call them the aggressively angry fairy wands that you're going to be making for them, and they got a kick out of it.
We should actually put that on the blank, on the samples that we get, send it to them, and just like have them do an unboxing so they open it up and just get their face when it says fairy wands or whatever. Oh my God, that'd be so good.
Instead of lunker sticks, put fairy wands in there. I can do that.
Totally.
It's easy.
Totally. We might want to do that just for
The only BFS I will throw is big freaking swim baits. That's the only BFS I will. There's no little baits going on here. Yeah.
I mean, you Swimbait guys, you
So,
guys are insane. So I do this trade show up in Massachusetts every year. Big up Dan Kenny. I go to the New England Fishing Expo every year.
Oh,
And-
cool.
Yeah, and they have a Swimbait Expo as well. And guys,
Yeah.
it's in January in the Boston area.
That's why we're trying to tap into the craziness, guys. We're going to bring everybody on. We're going to get them all assimilated to the big bait soon. Come on, Brendan. We're working on them.
Well, So this isn't California. This isn't the Delta, right? This isn't Texas or anything like that. This is Massachusetts, and it's minus 15 to 20 degrees, and people are set outside in line 2 days before the show starts. 2 days in the snow, camping outside the hotel, right?
For
to
what?
get in line for these limited swim baits like
I'll
bull
tell ya.
shads or whatever. And they go in because he only sells a certain amount each day. This guy, I mean, telling you, the swim bait guy, you've never seen a guy, everything's top, probably one of the richest guys I've ever seen. He walks in there and I can't remember the exact brand who it is, but he walks in there, he has this
I know
briefcase
you're
full
talking
of
about.
his swim baits. He pulls them out on the table, sells them in like the first 2 hours, and then he plays around for the rest of it. Doesn't do anything. All of us are working the show for 8 hours, 12 hours, trying to, haggle and deal and sell everything that we can. He walks in, sells out in 2 hours, walks out, comes back the next day for 2 more hours, sells out, and people camp outside. Then they immediately walk outside, sell them on eBay for 3 times what they just paid for them.
That's crazy.
Hundreds of dollars. Insane.
What's the brand?
That
What's
would
the
be,
brand,
Paul
Brendan?
Smith, aka that is Paul Smith. His swim baits. I've talked to him a lot on Instagram. He's
his
actually
customs.
helped me with a lot of my
Yeah.
baits.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. He makes some amazing baits. That's 100% sure. They catch big ones, but I'm not going to pay $300, $400, or $500 for those baits if they're flipping them. I'm personally, I'm not going to flip swim baits. If I buy it at a price, I'm selling at that price or below it. I am not a flipper. Like if I buy like a 316 like workhorse, if I say I sell mine, I'm going to sell it for under that price because it's got a lot of extra hook rash and everything. But yeah, those swim bait shows are crazy. I really want to go to the Gathering 5. I just have to work up a good budget so I can buy a bunch of those baits because there's some baits I have my eyes on that I really want. But those swim bait shows are awesome. Those guys that camp out there, it's like insane. Like they go out there the 2 days before and they're camping out there. It's crazy what they do.
In
and
a blizzard,
hopefully I'll be on
we
the
were
front
in
of
a
that
blizzard.
line. Hopefully.
Crazy.
The year before last,
insane.
it snowed 3 feet in one night, and they were still out there buying swim baits.
That's insane.
No chance.
And I pride myself on being the kind of guy
guys
who get to the guy before he gets to the show. I don't want to go to the show and compete with nobody. I'm one of those guys. I want to find the guy before he goes to the show. That's my expertise.
That would be the smart way of doing it for sure. And some of those guys don't even swim bait fish or fish at all.
Oh,
like
man,
sometimes they just are like, oh yeah, we know these baits. They just buy them and sell them because they're like, oh, I can make some money here. I can make $4,000 on these. It's just it's insane. It's like the shoe market or the baseball market. It's just kind of crazy, and there's money to be made.
Market.
So people are gonna make money. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It's just pretty insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's what it is, though. Yeah, it's pretty insane. So, yeah. So, Will, I know you design, rods and baits and all that sort of stuff. What's your favorite part about designing, like baits and rods, and what's the most difficult part about designing baits and rods?
The difficult thing, I guess, about it for me is, I don't know. It's hard now as far as difficulty is concerned. There's some tedious sides of things that you have to do. A lot of the paperwork and the drawing and stuff like that. The thing I love about it the most, though, is just creating new things. I'm an idea guy. I'm probably not the best person to be running a company. 'Cause, all the stuff that has to be done. That's really not what I enjoy doing. I just like to sit down and design. So I love to design stuff. I have just on my hard drive right here on my computer, just hundreds of bait designs and hundreds of different rod series that are pretty much just already ready to go. Just whenever I need them, I can just change this, change that, add this, subtract that, based on what, if it's a guy like Rick who wants me to do design work for him, what he wants or requires, or for me for Doomsday and what I need. But man, for me, the thing I love the most is just the technical side of things. Like just even with soft plastics, like I think marketing is a big thing, and there's this. Maybe Rick's gonna get mad at me. I'm giving away too much information, but there's a saying in the industry that fishing tackle catches fishermen, not fish. The goal of the company is to catch fishermen, not fish. It's to get you to buy it, not for us, not for really you to catch anything on it. That's the goal of the big brands. For me, my goal for everything that I do for myself or for anybody else is for you to have the best experience on the water. Right? A lot of elbow problems, wrist problems that people have, especially in older ages, due to the rods. Nobody cares about balance. Everybody's concerned about making the lightest possible rod. Mine's 3 ounces. Mine's 2 ounces. Mine's 1 ounce. Well, what are you fishing with? I mean, how durable is a rod that's 7'4" heavy that weighs an ounce? Like it's not possible. They don't care. You need, in order to balance that tip, right? So it's not pulling on your arm all day. So you're literally not having to fight the rod all day.
Yeah.
It's going to cause you wear and tear. Tennis elbow, fisherman's elbow is what I like to call it. Fisherman's wrist, the claw, all of these things. Ergonomics, fishability is what I like to say. People don't care about that. They care about catching the consumer. And they figured that they'll win you back with their marketing dollars. And if not you, they'll just win some other guy who's never bought it before. Like they'll just acquire new customers. Like I said, I don't have a lot of customers, but all of my customers have at least 5 or 6 orders on my website. Like I don't have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people going to my web store each week. But the customers that I do have, I can send out an email to my small little mail list and boom, I know I'll get results. If something else comes out, these guys are loyal, and they're loyal because the product works for them.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing about soft plastics is, and this is what I wanted to get to, it's a little bit of background noise. It sounds like somebody's sanding.
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, sorry. I'm sanding. Sorry.
Come on, Brandon. Help me out here.
I got it right.
Sorry.
I got it right. See? The big guy. Everybody think about like action on a bait, right? So take a bait that has like real flapping action. When you're out there on the water and you're looking at bait fish and crayfish, what have you ever seen that does this when it falls? Nothing, right? Nothing does that. So everybody talks about match the hatch as far as looks of the bait are concerned, right? Matching the hatch. I always like to say match the vibrations, because bass feed off their lateral line in dirty and mucky water, right? Or more so than they do with their eyes. It's water displacement that a fish senses more than seeing their prey, right? So yeah, when the water temperatures are right, or in the summertime, you could literally catch bass with a cigarette butt. If they're biting. It's when it's not. It's when the situations are tough and they're hard, and some baits work more than others. That means that they've done something right? On a hard day, cold, cold front, the fish aren't biting. In the middle of winter, in the middle of summer, those are the types of baits. So even the action on a bait needs to be, realistic. There is when a crawfish moves, a bass knows over the amount of time that it's lived, what that crawfish, when a crawfish moves, how the water is displaced, what it feels like. You think of Daredevil, right? The blind guy, superhero. He can feel or hear things, and he can see his picture in his mind. That's how bass feeds, right? They feel water displacement, and they know that there's prey nearby, and they know what kind of prey it is. But bass are like cats, though. I mean, they'll chase down anything. So getting baits that. So for me, that's the exciting part, is really trying to get the science of hydrodynamics, water displacement, putting into bait design. So all the fun stuff.
Yeah. And do you use, are you like a CAD designer, or do you like design in CAD, like SolidWorks or Fusion 360 for all these designs, or are you just kind of drawing them up on paper and everything?
Yeah, see, like I said, I have a graphics design background, so I use Adobe Illustrator, believe it or not. I do all my technical drawings in Adobe Illustrator. I'm probably doing it the hard way.
Really?
Totally.
Yeah. But that's the way that I do it. So.
Okay. Might have to try that. That's a pretty interesting way of doing it. Well, that's pretty cool, man.
Program
well, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
What'd you have for dinner?
Yeah, I mean, if you know that, we had steak. So, well, it's kind of like a steak. It's like, it's steak, almost cutlets and fillets. I of course had to put them on the sandwich, obviously, and it was really, really good. It was nice and tender. It was not brown. It was nice and pink.
Did this cow have a name?
No, it did not. No, this cow did not have a name.
Disgusting.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We have a few more now, so we're starting to buy a little too many, and we're starting to breed them. So, it's becoming a little bit of a problem. We need to start building some more fence.
or you can feel free to kill one of them and send me some steaks. I'm totally down to try one of these steaks. I'll even pay for the FedEx. All right, Brendan, listen, before we let you go, because I know you got to roll.
All right, man.
I just want to say thank you for today.
Okay.
This is actually your 100th call.
Heck yeah, finally. Look at that.
There you go.
Congratulations, B.
So, all right, bro.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
All right, man.
All right.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, that was Brendan.
All right, Rick, I got to go to my man. It's good. Now, guys, Rick put some in the box with that silent crankbait. You know, that silent crankbait in the Whopper Plopper is the thing to throw right now with fast-moving baits. It is the spring and summertime. So if you're going to be throwing anything, make sure it's moving. All right, Rick, take care, buddy. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Thank you. Bye-bye. Whew. All right. Way to end it on a positive note. I just want to look and see if there's any questions. I think we're all pretty good. Yeah, Carol, we got to have a party for Brendan next week. 100 calls. It's quite a lot of. That's 100 shows he's called into. Damn, that's a lot of shows. Anyway, look, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I really appreciate you taking time away from the family to do so. I appreciate you for developing me a really quality product. If you guys don't know about Doomsday Tackle, make sure you check out their website. They make some really great products, and we wouldn't have a quality.
Check us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then too, know and trust that and if you get yourself into a lunker stick, it's a quality rod, and it's been developed with love and care, and it's not some off the shelf, Me Too type of rod. It's been, intentionally and specifically designed. So, have faith.
Yes.
In the glow lunker sticks or
awesome. And maybe what we can do is when we come out with the ultralight, maybe we can have you on with the aggressively average angler guys, and we can talk about that a little bit more. So,
yeah, it'd be good.
All right, appreciate you coming on the show, man.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You got it. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye. God, I learned a lot about rods today. I knew I made the right decision when, I've known Will for a long time. Met him at a trade show. And back in the days with the guys from Filthy Anglers, Jim. And that was back when Jim was dating Amy and some of the others. And we drank a lot of Fireball back in the day. My liver thanks me today that I don't drink that much Fireball. I don't actually drink Fireball anymore. I've kind of grown up. Maybe a little bit. Anyway, listen, we had a great show today. We did some golden tickets. We gave away we recognized some people. Thanked them for their loyalty. I wish Brian Rand was on here. He wasn't. We had Gramps on, and Gramps shared what was going on in the nation. I will find out from them what's going on. I will I'll get answers for that stuff. Somebody's asking about May. Hold on. All right, quickly. We're not going to talk about... Jesus. Jiminy Christmas. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Okay, I can't quite figure this out. All right, so that you guys know. All right, here's some of what's going to be in May. We got some lipless crankbaits. We've got a collaboration between Rattletrap and Ducket. I see some Berkeley War Pigs. I see some frogs. I see some frogs from Stanford. I see some Booyah. I don't know what SS Frog is. I see some Toad Runners. Spro. No, Spro's not until September. I see some Drop Shot Tungsten. I see some Strike King. I see some V&M. I see Z-Man. What else? I see a lot of baits. I don't know that May's completely done yet. That's why. I don't know what the configuration is, so I can't answer that question. But those are some of them. And so yeah, you're gonna get some frogs. Anyway, yeah, Gramps loves frogs, especially around Christmas time. It's a great time. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today. We gotta let Jared go. He's got to get home to his wife and have dinner. And I need to go watch the draft. Who went third? Anyways, I'll talk with you guys later. I'll see you next Thursday at 4 o'clock.